Kristen Nun is a disgusting racist piece of shit who unsurprisingly enjoys fucking with animals. Yeah, that was pretty straightforward and to the point, and it probably has you thinking, how the hell is Kristen a racist? Well, Kristen and her partner have been racists. So 3 years back in 2020, Kristen Nun, a well-known PED user, was still claiming natural. So during this time, I was about 16 years old and I was really invested into the fitness industry, and I would call out these roid users who would constantly claim natural, and she just happened to be one of them. And I was 16 at the time, and I'm not even gonna lie, I would be trolling here and there. So that's something I hold myself accountable on. But for the most part, they simply didn't like that they were getting caught out on their roid and well-known PED use. So I caught Kristen and her bum partner on a live stream this one time. It was kind of a trend that everyone was calling Kristen a man because of the amount of steroids and testosterone that she had in her body. It probably was more than the average man considering her physique. But she took offense to the fact that I called her a man. I didn't say she looked like a man or anything. I just simply said, you're a man, because considering the amount of drugs and testosterone you have in your body, it's literally equal to that of a man. So I don't see why she took such offense to that. So her partner, her racist piece of shit partner right here, goes on to say some shit on the live stream, some racist shit on the live stream. Hey, look, it's this black kid that's been trolling you. It's Vetseps. It's that black kid that looks like dog shit. That's the literal words that this piece of shit racist said on the live stream. And you would think that Kristen would say, what the fuck? Why are you being racist? But no, she just said, regardless of his race, he's a moron. Because there was someone in the comments, and multiple people were saying, like, why do you have to point out that he's black? Why do you have to be racist? But considering that the majority of this moron's fan base is probably just racist Americans who are obsessed with violence, I'm not really surprised, and Kristen shouldn't really have to worry about losing much of her fan base for being racist anyways. Not only are they racist, but they post about gun violence constantly. Seriously, what's the point of posting a video of you doing bicep curls with a gun, other than the fact that you're just trying to show off that you have a large ass gun? That's literally the only reason you would post a video like that, and it really just screams insecurity because you're trying to show off your weapons. Look, I defend the Second Amendment. I guess you should have the right to carry. Everyone deserves the right to feel safe. But if you're just posting it online, you're basically no different than those assholes who just take gang pictures and show off their guns and rap videos. You're basically no different from those assholes. Should weapons be used for safety specifically and only, or should they be used for trying to impress people on the internet by showing them, oh, I have this weapon, or I have this weapon in a weird way, such as this way is doing bicep curls with guns? Seriously, it's screaming insecurity. Same thing with her partner. He has multiple fucking pictures of him with guns. It's like, okay, you can be obsessed with guns, you can like guns, but do you have to post about it constantly and try and glorify weapons when there's already so many mass killings going on at the moment? Now, at this point in time, I do not think that Kristen Nun is fertile due to the amount of drugs that she has in her body, but back when she was natural and she actually looked like a woman, I think she was fertile then, and like I said, she actually does look like a woman back when she was natural. And that brings me back to the fact that her partner said that I look like dog shit. Keep in mind, I was 16 years old at this time, and this is what I looked like. In way better shape than the average 16-year-old during this time. But I guess because I wasn't on steroids and I wasn't taking drugs like him, and that I'm comfortable with what my body can naturally achieve, I guess that makes me look like dog shit. Meanwhile, they both have been on steroids and PEDs for years and years to come because they need that in order to feel comfortable with their own bodies. It's sad how insecure these narcissistic steroid users are, that they aren't even happy with what their bodies can actually achieve, and that they talk down on those who are happy with what their bodies can actually achieve. I don't need drugs to feel confident in myself like they do. If you need to cycle on drugs for years and years just to feel comfortable in your own body, it's because you are fragile and you are lacking confidence. It's because you're miserable and you need drugs to make yourself feel better. Cycling throughout the years is no different than any other drug addiction issue out there, because sure, it might be PEDs, but it's still a drug addiction, and it should be treated that way. Regardless, as long as Kristen Nun hasn't had kids at the moment, I don't think she'll be having any in the future, considering that her hormones are probably messed up from all the repeated steroid usage throughout the years. But we should all be happy because there's no doubt that these two morons would have raised society's next school shooter. Not only that, but Kristen Nun takes pride in being a disgusting fucking animal abuser. She teamed up with that fishing brand, I think it's called Black Tip, and basically the founder of Black Tip is a racist piece of shit. He even partnered with Donald Trump Jr., who is a well-known racist piece of shit. So anyways, she thinks it's cool to hook these animals in the mouth and pull them out of the ocean for a video. And she also partnered with Steffi Cohen, who was also doing the same thing, because apparently abusing animals is just some good hobby in which you team up with other people to join you in with it. Taking pictures with animals that you've just ripped out the ocean. And the thing I want to point out most is that they do it only for sport. They do it for fun only. They don't even eat any of the fish. Not that it would make it any better at all, but they just do it purely for sport, fucking with animals, putting a large hook in their mouth, which makes it hard for fish to eat after you release them back into the water, by the way. And they can often die from those injuries. It causes them tremendous pain and suffering, but then again, when you're a narcissistic human being, you don't even look into the research that fish can in fact feel pain and they do suffer. And when you hook them in the mouth, that causes them tremendous pain and injury, and they can get an infection from that, and it also causes them to struggle to eat. If you had a large hook in your mouth and someone's just yanking it hard and hard, yanking you, you're gonna get an infection and you're gonna get a terrible mouth injury. You know, nobody is immune from that. This fish here is probably like a at least 600, probably 1,000 pound fish or something. And multiple fucking retards just yanking on the fish of the mouth. Can you imagine how much pain that's causing to that animal? Well, if you're a disgusting fucking piece of shit, just like Kristen Nun is, you're probably not paying attention to something like that anyways, right? It's no surprise that animal abusing racists are so obsessed with gun violence as well. Gun violence is very popular amongst racist white people. Now, for the good white people who aren't racist, don't take offense to this. Your southern white racists, they're just obsessed with purchasing weapons. Like, owning a weapon is fine. The population of southern white racists are just obsessed with buying weapons and showing them off. They're just obsessed with violence in general. And they're so insecure that they have to go on the internet like this asshole and show off their weapons by doing bicep curls and taking pictures. If these people weren't as disgusting as they are, I would say I feel bad for how insecure they are, that they can't even live with themselves without taking drugs, and that they can't even live a happy life without letting animals live out their lives free of harm. They have to abuse animals to feel good about themselves, and they also have to prance around with guns and shit on the internet in order to feel like they're big and bad or they're scaring someone, when in fact a lot of people and most Americans probably carry a firearm at this fucking point. But it's fine. As long as they didn't reproduce your children when they grow up and they enter the high schools, they should be safe from if these two did reproduce and they would have created the next school shooter. So I'm not really invested into the life of Kristen Nun, and I never really was, but if they haven't in fact had a child yet, then I do thank them for that, because a lot of the upcoming high school students are going to be safe from what your potential child would have done in these schools, the way you promote violence the way you do. I can only imagine what your child would have done to another student. So in conclusion, Kristen Nun and her PD-using insecure partner are disgusting fucking people. They abuse and fuck with animals, and they show it on the internet because they're proud of it. And they also promote gun violence on the internet because they're proud of that as well. Pure insecurity. Do not be like this. Never let any PED user of years and years and years of cycling tell you that you as a natural lifter do not look good enough. Like, just because you need steroids to feel confident in yourself doesn't mean you have to bring someone else down who knows they look good as a natural lifter and as a natural athlete. Doesn't mean you have to try and bring them down just because you're insecure about what your body looks like and you're not happy with what you can achieve naturally as an athlete.
Do anything for clout. Do anything for clout. Do anything for clout.